Yesterday we started with an interesting session, and that was last 3 days rather. We started with the introduction of indicators, and we talk about indicators, how indicators came about, and categories of indicators or classes or types of indicators. We talk about them. And yesterday we started with moving average as one of the powerful indicators. We talk about the types of moving averages. And before we start, let me see if my audience still recall what we discussed. We talk about the three types of moving averages. The three main types of moving averages. What did we say they are? Let me see if my audience really catch up with what we stated yesterday. What did we say the types of moving averages are? What did we say the types of moving averages are? So drop the answer in the chat box before we start. Whilst I'm about to share my screen, I want to know if you still recall what we discussed yesterday. So what did we say the types of moving averages are? Drop your answer in the chat box. Let me know. I believe I'm loud and clear. I've started, right? I believe I'm loud and clear. So drop your answer in the chat box. We talk about the three main types of. Don't go and refer. I believe this. You're supposed to get it right now. Absolutely, I'm not getting any answer. Okay, so SMA and then EMA. That is simple moving average, and then also exponential moving average. Leverage one. So you've mentioned two. Leverage one. So David Amara. All right. So who again? I need more answers. It's only one person. Only one person is here. I need more answers. Only one person. We're about 43 here. 43. So I expect we do better. So please drop the answer there. Let me know if you followed yesterday's session. Before we start, because today we are moving to another indicator. Like I said, we may discuss about 4 or 5 indicators, and on the part we may look at how to combine some of these indicators to make entries and confirmation and entries in the markets, right? So drop the last one. We talk about 3 types of indicators. So far, it's only one person that has dropped an answer. It's like I'm not loud and clear on the chat or what? It's like I'm not loud and clear, or you can't hear me. In fact, let me know if you guys can hear me, because yes, I still wonder how only one person will give me an answer. I still wonder how now I can see two. So simple moving average and then also exponential moving average. That is all that I can see. Two people, Christopher and then David. 3. So what are the rest doing? Moving averages. Drop the answer in the chat box. We talk about the types of moving averages. Very good. So FS screen. So you own it. That is weighted moving average. Okay. Weighted moving average has been added to it. They are enjoying your voice this morning. No. So we have weighted moving average. So we talk about the 3 types of indicators. We said we have the simple moving average, and also weighted moving average, and then exponential moving average. We said those are the 3 main types of moving averages. We have many, but those are the 3 main types of what moving average: the weighted moving average, exponential moving average, and then also the simple moving average. So yesterday our discussion was centered around the entire idea of moving averages, and we talk about the fact that moving averages are trend line indicators based on the classes of indicators we stated. We said moving averages are trend line indicators. Yeah, that is what we talk about. And we said they help traders to identify market trend using the moving average or crossovers, or using the crossovers. they help traders to identify market trends. Yeah, perfectly. So that is what we did yesterday, and we took time. We went on the chart trading view, and also using our Binance, we were able to also go into the Binance account using the chart there to learn and also discover areas where you may see the different forms of what. Yes, it will be displayed. So I guess Mr. Doris will share that today. So it will be displayed. So we did that, and yeah. So this morning, let me quickly share my screen. We are moving to another powerful indicator, that is the moving average convergence divergence. Okay, the moving average convergence divergence, that is what we are moving on to today. So yeah, so that is our discussion for this morning. Moving average convergence divergence. Okay, which is simply put as the MACD, the MACD, which is simply put as the what, as the MACD. So you may see MACD. When you talk of MACD, we mean the moving, okay, it's a moving average, right? Moving average convergence, mm, divergence. Okay, yeah. So but yeah, I'm just going to take time to explain the important things that we need in our session here, which can build us and then also help us to understand this lesson. So I'm not going to complicate this session too. So just as we started, I told you that when it comes to the use of indicators, indicators are principles. Okay, they are trading principles that has been quelled or discovered by expert analysts or experienced traders, experienced what traders or analysts over decades or over the years. So looking at MACD too, the little knowledge or history behind MACD is that MACD was discovered in the 70s, that is 1970, by a man called April. Now he discovered how to use MACD, and since then MACD has been used by a lot of traders, including myself and yourself, right? And we are still learning how to use it effectively. So far as we keep learning every day, right? So when it comes to the use of MACD, the idea is that MACD, just as we learn about the classes of or the categories of indicators, MACD mainly have two categories. It's a trend line following momentum what indicator. So though MACD is a trend line indicator, it also follows what we called momentum average. So it derived from what we call the moving average, the moving average. So the main work of MACD is to first help traders to identify market trend, and then also price momentum. So using MACD helps traders to identify market trend, the moving trend of what, of the moving averages of what, of a trend. So that is the market trend or price trend. The right way to use is price trend. Okay, so price trend, and then markets or price momentum. Price momentum. So when we are using MACD, the main cost of using MACD is to identify the price trend. And then also after identifying the trend, it also helps you to build or to identify the momentum of the price. So when we talk of the price trend, we mean either it is uptrend or downtrend. And when we talk of the momentum, either it is very bullish or bearish. These are the two. Okay. So at the end of the day, traders uses moving average convergence divergence to identify this. So in the case of we using what do we call it, MACD, we are using MACD, or we are learning about MACD to identify the very three core areas, that is identifying price trend or the trend direction. Okay, the trend direction, just as moving average, the trend direction, and then also the strength of the trend, huh? The strength of the trend, which is the momentum, momentum. Then also, after we study MACD, we may be able to know how to possibly use MACD to make buy and sell entries, right? So let's go. So over here we are going to use both Binance and then also TradingView, but you basically use what's TradingView, right? So when it comes to the use of MACD, there are three main things that we are going to discuss here. Following what you call it, the MACD, the moving average convergence or divergence. We are going to know what you call it, MACD line, the MACD line. Now we're also going to know what you call the signal line, and then histogram. Before maybe, am I moving very fast? Am I moving fast? Am I moving fast? Am I moving fast? Am I moving fast? Let me get back to the Zoom and see if maybe I'm talking to myself. I'm not getting any response from my audience. Am I moving fast? All right. So Joseph is saying, Jacob is saying no. Okay. All right. Okay, then that is good. So let's proceed. Okay. All right. Someone saying slightly fast. Okay. Now let's proceed. So we are going to look at these three things: the MACD line, the signal line, and then also the histogram. These are what gives definition to what do you mean MACD. Okay. So the MACD composes of three things: a line, okay, of which we call that line the MACD line, and then also we have the signal line, okay, as well as the histogram. Now the MACD line comes about as a result of the fact that we said, mind you, we said it is a moving average. So the MACD line comes as a result of the fact that there is a 12-day difference between what a 12-day moving or a 12-day exponential moving average, and then a long day or a 26-day exponential moving average. So let me clean the board so that I can be able to demonstrate it well for you to see. So when we talk of the MACD line, the MACD line is expressed since it's a moving average, okay, not just a moving average, but an exponential what moving average. And the MACD line comes about as a result of the fact that there is a difference between these two moving averages. That is the 12-day moving average, and then also the 26 days what moving average. So the difference between the 12-day moving average and the 26 moving average is what gives meaning to the what to the MACD line. So it just shows the difference, okay, between the short-term moving average, which is the 12, and then also the long-term moving average, which is the 26 moving what average. So that is what gives the price movement of the line. So let's go to MACD, or let's go to TradingView. Okay. Now TradingView here. Okay, so let me wipe out everything here. Let me delete everything. Uh, okay, so let me delete everything. All right. Now, what you're going to do next is you're going to search for MACD. We are going to search for MACD. So let's do that. So click here as we did yesterday. Let's search for MACD indicator. So after searching for indicator, quickly search for MACD, just MACD. So very good. So you can see over here, we have the moving average convergence. Just tap on it and then click on add. So let's click on add and then click on chart. Very good. Now we have our MACD here. We have our MACD here. Very good. This is what we have here. Let me take time. Very good. Now, when you take the MACD, you are going to see this a 12. So let me open it up. Very good. So when you come here, you are seeing a 12 moving average, and then what? A 26 moving average, right? And then you're also seeing two lines here as well as this. So out of all these three things that we are going to learn, that is what we are saying. We have what you called the MACD line, the signal line, and then also histogram. Okay. So when you take MACD, these are the things that you have to consider. This is what gives meaning to our lesson and also gives meaning to MACD. These two lines, and then this, as well as what we call the zero line. Okay, this, right? So when you see this is the MACD histogram, and then this is the MACD line, okay, as well as the MACD signal line. So let's look at the two. Let's click on settings. Let's first click on settings. So this is our settings. Good. So if you want to change anything, we have the colors here. We have MACD. This is MACD. This is signal, and then also this is the zero line, as well as the histogram. Okay, so if you want to change the color of the histogram, you can do it. You can change it. So over here, we are choosing color, what color? Green, and then red, right? We are choosing color, what color? Green for the histogram. And then when you come here to the blue line, is for MACD, the MACD line, right? And then the signal line is which color is this? Let me change it to red so that I don't confuse myself, because when it comes to colors, so which color should we use? Let me see. Which color should we use, or we should maintain it? Which color should we use? Which color should we use? Okay, let's use red. What do you think? Is this red? Okay. What do you think? Let me see. Okay, we should maintain it. Okay. Okay, someone saying we should maintain it. All right, then which one? It was this, right? Okay. Then let's maintain it. Oh, okay. So I guess we have it here, right? Good. We've done that. Okay, good. So over here, when you come here, the blue line that you see signal as the MACD line. The blue line that you see here, this is the blue line. It signal as what? As the MACD line. And then the other line, which is, should we say, yellow? This orange is also signal as the signal line. Okay, the signal line. So we have the MACD line and then also the signal line. And what we are saying is that when we talk of the MACD line, basically the MACD line is the difference between the 12-day moving average and then also the 26 moving average. The difference between the 12-day moving average and the 26 days moving average, right? Good. Now when you talk of the signal line, the work of the signal line is to smoothen the MACD line. Okay, is to smoothen the MACD line for us to be able to identify a very good trend in the market. So the main work of the signal line and then the MACD line is very simple, and it teaches us for us to get what you call the MACD crossovers, right? It teaches us for us to get what you call the MACD crossovers. So over here, let's quickly interpret these two lines. Now, these two lines give meaning to the chart, and what it says is very simple. Whenever these two lines crosses each other, just like the moving average we talked about yesterday, whenever the signal line, so first, whenever the MACD line, right, crosses below or above the signal line, it indicates a particular market trend or direction. Whenever the MACD line crosses above or below, it signal a particular market trend or market direction. So over here in the course of our lesson here, what we are going to learn is that when it comes to the MACD crossovers, the MACD crossovers, what we can simply say about the MACD crossovers is how MACD crosses above and below the signal line. So if it happens that the MACD line, this is the MACD line, which is blue. If it happens that the MACD line crosses below the signal line, it's indicated as what? As bearish. Or let me use downtrend, since we are talking about trend here, not the momentum yet. So when the MACD line crosses below the signal line, it's indicated as what? As bearish or downtrend. And also when it crosses above the signal line, it's indicated as what? As uptrend. This is very simple. So they are just simple principles that we are using here. I believe someone is getting what we are discussing here. This is the MACD line. right? This is the signal line. Maybe you have to use the pointer. Let me try using my pointer maybe to help you, right? So this is the MACD line. This is it, right? And then also this is the signal line. This color represents the signal line. So what we are saying is that anytime you see the blue, which is the signal line, or sorry, the MACD line crossing below, when it crosses below when it crosses below the MACD line, sorry, when it crosses below the signal line, it's indicated that the price is what is downtrend. And when it crosses above, it's indicated that the price is what is uptrend. So over here, if we can trace back a little bit to see. So first we can talk of this. We can talk of what is happening here. You can talk of what is happening here. You can talk of what is happening here. Now, looking at this, we can clearly see that the MACD line, okay, is crossing below. And since the MACD line is crossing below, we could clearly say that it is what? It is downtrend. We are not discussing about the momentum yet. We are discussing about the trend. I don't know if you get it. You get it. You get what we are saying? Do you get it? Please, do you get the discussion? Do you get what we are saying? Do you get it? Do you get it? Mm, very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. So then we can proceed. Then we can proceed. Then we can proceed. Very clear. Wow, that is awesome. So let's proceed. So in likewise manner, let's trace it to other and see if we also see. So you could clearly see that following this particular trend here, let's look at the crossovers. This happens to be a bullish crossover. So, or I said bullish. Let me use the word uptrend until we talk about the momentum or the strength. So, looking at this, you could see this is another crossover, right? This is it. This is it, right? Now, so when this happens, you could clearly see that the MACD line is above the signal line. And when the MACD line is above the signal line, it is well understood that it is what? The price is uptrend. When the MACD line is above the signal line, it is clearly indicated as what? As uptrend. So over here, once we understand this, if we want to know a price is uptrend or downtrend, first, if I understand the language of the MACD, I'll quickly come here to know either there has been a crossover or not. And if the crossover has happened, what is going on? And this is what can give me a meaning to the chart if I am using indicators to trade. Hope it's clear. Hope it's clear. Very good. Now let's look at the histogram. Let's look at the histogram. Let's look at the histogram. Now, when we talk of the histogram, so okay. When we talk of the MACD histogram, okay, this is what we term it as the histogram. Let me bold in it so that you can see. This is what we term it as the histogram. This is what we term it as the histogram. The graph that you see here is what we term it as the histogram. Now, the histogram shows the difference between the MACD line and then the signal line, right? So it shows the difference between the two lines, which is this two lines, the MACD line and then the signal line. And it clearly helps us to identify the momentum of the trend. So that is the angle where we would understand the momentum coming up either to be bullish or bearish. So though a MACD, although we may see MACD giving a direction to be uptrend, but it is the histogram that adds value for us to know either the momentum is strong or weak, either the momentum is bullish or bearish. So when you take the histogram, you're going to see we have this green and then also red. Maybe you are not seeing. Let me use the pointer. So we have the red, then also the green, right? And you can see there is a difference here. Let me use this. So you can see there is always a change, right? So when the histogram is green, it's identified as what? As bullish. When the histogram is red, it's identified as bearish. Now there is a line or there is a difference between these two, and what makes the difference is what we term it as the zero line. Okay, what makes the difference is what we term it as the zero line. So a histogram may be above the zero line or below the zero line. That is the next thing. When the histogram is above the zero line, it gives us a signal that the price is bullish, or the momentum is bullish. And when the histogram is below the zero line, it gives us an indication that the price is bearish. Please, do you get it? Do you get it? We've moved from the signal line to histogram. Do you get it? Do you get what we are saying? Do you get the point of discussion? Do you get it? Do you get it? Very good. All right, good, good. We can proceed then. We can proceed. Very good. I want to just simplify this session for you to grab the concepts in an easy way. Right? Okay. Now, let's proceed. Let's proceed. So over here, the language of understanding is coming home and it's very clear. So this is what we called the zero line. This is what we called the zero line. So the difference between the signal line or the MACD line and then the signal line is what we may see it as the histogram, right? So the histogram may have a well meaning only if we understand the zero line. So when the zero line is above, when the histogram is above the zero line, it's indicated as bullish, and when it's below the zero line, it's indicated as bearish. So you could always see there is a difference here, right? You could always see. So anytime there is a change, you could see that either it goes above the zero line or below the zero line. So when we trace this, let's trace it back to see. Good. So look at it. Let's look at this. You can see there was a slight change, and every little change you may see the difference, right? So you could still trace it back to see. Good. You could still do what? Trace it back to see. So let's observe this. So you can see here, right? You can see it yourself. So anytime there is a change, either it goes above or below the zero line, and that is what gives meaning to the MACD line, right? Good. So now the next thing is this. So the distance from the zero line may tell us either it is strong momentum or weak momentum. The distance from the zero line may tell us. So if it happens that the histogram, right, is far from the zero line, sorry, the MACD line, the crossovers is far from the zero line, that may give us an indication that either it is a strong momentum or a weak momentum, right? So when you come here, let me turn off this. So let's look at this as an example. You look at this, look, observe here, you could see clearly what we are talking about. Wait. So look at this. There was a slight change here. Hope you can see that. So what we are saying is that it is the distance, the distance of the histogram communicates either it is having a strong momentum or a weak momentum, right? Whenever there is a change, it is the distance that will communicate if it happened that the histogram is far from the zero line. That gives us a momentum, that it's a strong momentum. But if it is close, just slight change, it gives us an indication that it is just a weak momentum. That is the next thing that we need to understand. Now let's look at how we can trade based on what we are talking about. How we can trade using these two concepts, that is MACD, histogram, and then also the signal line. So let's look at the MACD crossovers. So first, we've discussed a little bit about the crossovers. Let me bring them back home. Good. Now we have the MACD crossover. So if we want to trade using MACD, first we need to think of the crossovers. We need to understand the crossovers, and that is what we exactly said, right? That's if it happens that the MACD line crosses above, okay, the signal line, it gives us an indication that it is bullish momentum. And when the MACD line crosses below, so over here, when it crosses below, this is below, right? This is the MACD line crossing below the signal line. And whenever it crosses below, when a crossover happens, it simply means it is downtrend. And that is the exact meaning of what we are seeing. That is the exact meaning of our observation on the chart, right? So in the same manner, if we trace it back here, let's see if you see an uptrend. Okay, so in same manner too, you can observe the crossover here, right? And the MACD line crosses above the signal line, which gave it an indication that it is bullish. It is bullish, right? Which gives it an indication that it is bullish. Now, if it happens that the MACD moves above the zero line, right? If it happens that the MACD line moves above above the zero line, so this is it. When the crossover happens above the zero line, so for instance, this is a typical example of what we are talking about, right? When the crossover happens above the zero line, it simply means the short average is moving in a strong momentum that is higher as compared to the other average. So in this case, it may appears to be that it is the bullish momentum is higher or strong as compared to the other side. So for instance, if we have the crossover happening above the zero line, let me clean this. So if it happens that the crossover happens above or it crosses above the zero line, it gives the indication that the momentum is what a strong momentum. So in that case, we may call it strong bullish bullish or strong momentum or bullish momentum anyway, right? So that gives us a confirmation that the crossover is what has happened, and since the crossover has happened, it is giving us an indication that it is what having a strong momentum, right? And in same manner too, if it happens that the crossover happens below the zero line. So for instance, this if it happens that it happens below the zero line, it simply means that it is what we call bearish momentum, which is a strong bearish momentum, a strong bearish momentum. So when we want to use the MACD line or the signal line based on crossovers, combine both the histogram and then also the lines. This is how we can explain the two together. But before then, let me know, do you understand what we are saying? Please, are you following the lesson? Are you following? Are you following? Let me know if you're following. Are you following? All right. Very good. Very good. So that is awesome. All right. That is good. So let me see. Show us an example where it crosses below. All right. Let's proceed. Let's proceed. Let's proceed. Okay. So over here, this is a typical example of the crossover happening below, right? This is a typical example of crossover happening below. And I guess you can observe that this is a typical example of crossover happening below. All right. So now let's sum up everything here. Let's sum up everything. Quick. Let's sum up. Now, when it comes to the use of MACD, it's very simple. So first, let me now bring in the charts. Let me bring in the charts. Very good. So the point of our discussion is simple. And personally, I don't see MACD to be a complicated tool, which also yield results very well. And by the time we end this session, we have this particular asset here called hamster, right? We have this particular asset here called hamster. And based on multi-time frames, let's see. Okay. So on the higher time frame, it is bullish. Okay. The crossover is about to happen. Let's wait. So for now, we need to wait, right? Before if we think of making even entries here. Now, the point of our discussion is simple, right? Looking at MACD, MACD is not a complicated indicator to use, and it's yield results. So the next thing that we are going to do, after understanding how to use MACD, we will combine MACD with another indicator this morning shortly. Then tomorrow we will proceed. So the point of our discussion is simple. MACD is a trend line indicator as well as a momentum indicator, which gives traders a well-defined meaning to the market, how to identify both the trend and then also the momentum. Either it is having a weak momentum or a strong momentum, right? Now, when you come here on MACD, we are going to use the MACD crossovers, both the crossover, the MACD line, and then also the histogram. Now, if it happens that price crosses above or the MACD line is above the signal line, it indicates that the price is bullish. And what gives it a confirmation is if the histogram is also above the zero line. If the histogram is above the zero line, it gives it a definition that indeed the momentum is strong. There may be an instance, even though I don't normally see that, but there may be an instance where the MACD line, there has been a crossover, but the bullish is still weak, or the histogram is still below or above, right? So what we are saying is that when it comes to the use of MACD, let me change it to different assets for us to see if we'll get a typical example of such. So let's assume BTC.P. Okay, good. So over here, just as we are discussing, the point of discussion is simple. That at the point in time, the MACD line, when the MACD line crosses above the signal line, it is bullish. But if we want to get a strong bullish momentum or confirmation, a strong bullish confirmation is when the crossover happens above the zero line. Do you get it? When the crossover happens above the zero line, right? That gives you a strong confirmation that it is having a strong bullish momentum. You could clearly see that even though over here there has been an indication of bearish the histogram is above the zero line, and of course the crossover has happened. But you could clearly see that all over the past histories, it is still having a weak crossover, which is a weak momentum. So the bullish momentum is still what? Is still weak. But if it happens that the histogram appears to be to cross above the zero line, and then also the crossover, the MACD line crosses above the signal line, all happening above the zero line, this gives an indication that it is strong bullish momentum. So let the crossover happen above, and let the histogram also crosses above the zero line. This may give us an indication that it is strong bullish momentum. Even though this is bullish, listen, I'm not saying this is not bullish, this is bullish. But what we are saying is that if we want to get a strong confirmation candle or a strong confirmation direction for us to follow, then if it happens that the crossover happens above the zero line, and also the histogram is above the zero line, this may give us a clear indication that it is having a strong bullish direction or momentum. I still use the word strong, so there is no need for momentum, right? And English people, please, do you get it? Do you get it? Let me know if you get it. Let me know if you get it. Do you get it now? I don't know if I've been able to do that ever, and okay, very good, very good. Wherever is in repeat. Okay. So let me see. Crossover. When the MACD line crosses over the signal line, it's indicated as a strong bullish momentum. Then when MACD line crosses over below, it's indicated as what? Okay. Now, this is the point of discussion. This is the MACD line, right? Sorry, this is yes, this is the MACD line. This is the signal line. There has been a crossover here. There has been a crossover. So automatically it is bullish. This is the signal, the zero line, and then also this is the histogram, right? Now, what we are saying is simple. If we want to see a strong, listen, the word is a strong. Where is my this thing? The word is what? A strong momentum, or yeah, a strong bullish or bearish momentum. Okay. If it happens that the MACD line, the crossover happens above the zero line, and then also the histogram crosses above the zero line. When all the two are above the zero line, it gives you confidence to know that it's having a strong bullish momentum, right? In likewise manner, when the crossover happens below, okay, when the crossover happens below, right? When the crossover happens below, it it gives you an indication that it is what? It is strong bearish what? Bearish momentum. So when the crossover happens below, oh, when the crossover happens below, right? If it happens below and then also the histogram is also below, it simply means it is strong bearish what? Bearish momentum. In likewise manner, if it happens, for instance, just as we are seeing here, you could see that even though the crossover happened below the signal line, yet the crossover happened below the what? Below the signal line, yet the histogram is above. Now this is bullish, though, but what we are saying, we are talking about strong bullish, right? This is bullish, but this may not be strong as compared to um happening above or happening below, right? And those of you who followed Coach Mo and then Coach Musa's lesson, you may have sometimes when crossover happens, or sometimes when some of these things happen, you may see an engulfing bar or a bullish engulfing telling you what is happening. Do you get it? And that is what may give you more confidence to make entries. I'm not talking about candlesticks. I'm talking about what? Indicators, right? So this is a typical example of what we are talking about. You can see that the crossover has happened, but over here, the bullish, the histogram is above the zero line, And yes, the crossover happened below the zero line, though it is bullish. It is bullish, but we are talking about strong bullish momentum. All right. Hope you get it now. Hope you get it now. Hope you do get it now. Hope you do get it now. Wizzy, do you get it now? Do you get it now? Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. That is awesome. That is awesome. That is awesome. That is awesome. Now, let's wrap up. So using the MACD line or using MACD, both combination MACD histogram and the signal line, you could get a definition for your trade, right? You could get a definition for your trade. Now, just as we talked about yesterday's moving average, one thing that you need to understand is using indicators are powerful because the principles have been laid down already. But what you also need to know is that you can't use them alone. Listen, trading, I've been saying this, and let me repeat myself. I've been saying this, so let me get back here. Trading is all about what? Alignment. Alignment. Trading is all about what? Alignment. Right? So if one leg stands alone, it may not be strong. But if leg, hmm, if two legs stand together, it may give you a strong it may give you what? Confidence, right? So when it comes to trading too, combining indicators gives you confidence in a trade to make entries. Combining indicators, and not every indicator that can be combined, right? Not every indicator that can be combined. So, for instance, why can't you combine every indicator? For instance, we stated about what? Categories of what? Of indicators. And you could realize that some of the indicators are all in the same category. Let's assume they are all trend indicators. So for instance, like average true index and then also moving average. Yesterday we realized that, or the last time we realized that they are all on the same category, which is a trend line indicator, right? Average true index, which is a trend line indicator. And then the moving average is also a trend line indicator. So they all define the same purpose. But when we are to use a moving average and then also MACD, mind you, MACD is not just a trend line, but we said a trend line following indicator, following momentum indicator. Okay, a trend line following momentum indicator. So the MACD gives you two things. It identifies the trend and also the momentum. So if you combine moving averages and then also MACD, you make what we call a perfect combo. A perfect what? Combo. Because this is a moving average, this by itself is a moving average, and then also a momentum indicator. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So in the next session, what we are going to do is, now that we've learned two indicators, we are going to test the two indicators to see how we can combine moving averages and then also MACD. Okay, how we can combine moving averages and then MACD to make what? Entries in the market. Now the next session, if you get me tomorrow, we may take time. Maybe we may I'll try and see if we can add 2 indicators so that we can run. I want us to cover maximum number of indicators. Possibly this lesson may take us 2 weeks. Then the leader to take control over the next session. Right? Let me know if you get what I'm saying. So at your free time, you have to get these concepts right. We may, if God permit, tomorrow, that is what we will do. We will look at how we can use combine 2 indicators. So since we have idea about MACD and then also moving average, we will now have to combine the two. Since MACD is a moving average, it's a momentum indicator, and then also a moving average is also a trend line indicator. We can combine the two to find entries in the market. But for now, I believe you understand this lesson. For now, let me know. I believe you understand this lesson. 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 Let me know. I'm taking a screenshot to update my stats, so don't worry. I believe you understand this lesson. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. All right. So let me give you the opportunity if you have any question to ask. Let me give you the opportunity if you have any question to ask. Let me give you the opportunity if you have any question to ask. Ask your question before we bring this session to an end. Let me give you the opportunity if you have any question to ask. Kindly ask. Ask your question. Ask your question. If you have any question to ask. Let me see if there is question. So okay, I'm waiting for the implementation. All right. Now, where can I get the lesson on moving averages so that I can catch up properly tomorrow for the perfect combination of the two indicators? Okay, so it will be shared today. So Doris, please kindly work on that so that we can get it. So is it this histogram momentum which determines how far or how strong long the uptrend will take? Yes, yes, yes. So it's yes for you, right? So which big percentage can you take using MACD? Okay, so now when it comes to the use of the indicators, okay, so just as we talk about combinations here, just as we talk about what combinations here, when it comes to the use of all these indicators, you can make please, I need yesterday's lesson. Okay, so it will be shared, don't worry. When it comes to the use of all these indicators, so let me share my screen. Now, we've already discussed about in our previous session, we've discussed about what do you call it? Support and resistance. Okay, so MACD can also be used in addition with support and resistance, right? So after analyzing using your MACD, you can also draw your support and resistance so that you can take your measurements. You can measure to know what your entries and your exits will be. So I believe you got permit tomorrow. I will add all those ones to the sessions, and tomorrow's session we will analyze and take some profits, right? In tomorrow's session we will analyze together and take some profits after we are done with the combination of the two indicators. We will analyze together and take some profits, right? We will analyze and take some profits. So today, whilst we bring this session to an end, my little take and share with you, yesterday good profit was made. I shared with you guys this asset hamster. And still, I will encourage you to keep close eye on its HMSTR. HMSTR. So STR. All right. So keep close eye on hamster. Either it's like it or not, we've made the money. So keep close eye on this dude called hamster. It is your opportunity to make money. Yeah, it is your opportunity to do or to make money on this particular hamster. Okay. Yes, yesterday it pumped very high, but then hamster is so weak, a weak man, and I know him for long. That hamster is a weak man. Doesn't have the balls to work very fast. Hamster does not have the balls to work. So take your time, take close eye on it. Personally, I love shorting hamster a lot. There are few assets I love shorting them, like hamster. Me, I'm not a friend of jelly jelly. Yeah, I'm not a friend of jelly jelly at all. I'm not a friend of jelly jelly. Yeah, but then assets like this hamster, sometimes it's slow, but it's okay. Sometimes it's slow, but it's okay. So keep close eye on hamster today. You can give a testimony by the end of the day. And give your testimony by the end of the day. All right, so let me see. I believe you've been able to learn something good today. I believe you've been able to learn something good today. So please kindly do a brief recast on MACD 4. I guess I just did that, my dear. I guess I just did that. Okay, so please, if there is any other question, as for the recap, I just did the recap before summing up everything. Right. So please, sorry for that. If there is any other thing, if there is any other thing, if there is any other thing, okay. So if there is nothing, then I believe we will bring this session to an end. If there is no question, then I believe we will bring this session to an end. If God permit tomorrow, we shall meet again. If God permit tomorrow, we shall meet again. If God permit tomorrow, we shall meet again. All right. So let's trade with caution. Let's trade with caution. Let's trade with caution. And then also with all our senses working together, let's make good money. Uh, so that is all what I can share with you today. If God permits and there is any other information to be communicated on our various platforms. If there is any other information to be communicated on our various platforms, so the daughter is already here and she's going to share with us the all the training that we've done, the recorded version of it. She will share with us in the course of the day. So please kindly help us to get that recording, those recordings, so that we can be able to revisit them on time. All right, so guys, we will end here. We shall meet another time. So this evening, today is Wednesday, and we have business presentation the evening. So inform your guests, let them get prepared. Today is going to be massive, and we are not going to joke at all. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, and God bless you for being here today. All right. See you. God bless you, and have a good day. Bye.